Hello, this is Spellbinder's Report. Today I'm reporting on the USDA's draconian use of their powers to shut down small farms and insignificance for the factory farm megacorporations. This is just wrong. In Missouri, a family was raising bunny rabbits. That's right, rabbits. And they were doing it a few years ago to teach their son how to manage a business like a lemonade stand. And they were showing them how to grow them and take care of the animals and do the things they're supposed to do. Then one day an inspector came by and said, let me take a look around. And they didn't think anything of it because, you know, they said, okay, you can take a look around, because they knew they had everything up tight and out of sight. I mean, all the rabbits and everything were healthy. They were big. I mean, they were selling them for food. They were so healthy, and they were selling them for pets. And they come in, they leaves. A little while later, they get a letter in the mail saying, you've broken the law. That doesn't exist. But they didn't say it doesn't exist, but it doesn't exist. Saying they've sold $500 worth of rabbits and they've broken some law, and today, the 22nd of May, they're supposed to come up with $90,000 to pay the fine that they're under for selling over $500 in rabbits. And they've already said they've researched the entire laws and everything, and their conclusion is there is no laws. The USDA is making all this up to confiscate and or take money from them and shut them down because they're doing that well. They didn't advertise hardly. It was mostly by word of mouth. And I believe the USDA was in the neighborhood inspecting farms, and he saw this sign saying rabbits for sale, and he says, I'll just go check this out. Maybe there's money to be made. And sure enough, he found money to be made. Telling them they have to come up with $90,000. And if they don't pay it, it goes to $4 million fine. If they don't pay the $90,000 a day. I tell you what, I'd find out who the USDA guy is, and I'd personally sue him, and then I'd show the laws of Missouri saying there is no laws. I don't know where you federals get off on being control freaks. Oh, it just makes me mad. This is the article here. I'll show it to you. It's not a pretty thing to see. Rabbits are now, you can't raise rabbits. And there's even the cases in Canada where people are raising vegetables in their basement, out of sight, not even outside, not even disturbing the environment. And they got fined $4,500. You tell me if this world is not nuts with these mega maniac corporations, greedy mothers. They want to take money from everyone that doesn't pay them a fee to keep their... it's really pissing me off. I'm really mad about this. This is the story here. I'm showing it to you right now. This is it. Health Freedom Alliance put this out. It was actually another article I've read from another source too. I don't know if it was Health Freedom Alliance. It was yesterday when I first read about this. Family facing $4 million in fines for selling bunnies. That's right, bunny rabbits. You know, rabbits. And they're healthy. It's like the Amish. It reminds me of the Amish case in Pennsylvania with the milk. The Amish know what they're doing with milk. They've been doing it for hundreds of years. I mean, the Amish are better farmers than the mega corporation farms were ever imagined. They're like the opposite of what an Amish farmer is. I mean, this is it. First, it was the raw milk and cheese debacles. Recently, some Canadians were fined $5,400. Excuse me, I had the 4 and the 5 backwards. I just couldn't believe it was that much. For growing veggies in their basement. No joke. A family selling bunnies will be charged around $4 million if they don't immediately submit to over $90,000 to the USDA by Monday. Their crime? Selling over $500 worth of rabbits in 1 calendar year. Not having a USDA license may have something to do with the unreasonable crackdown. And there should be no license. I mean, these people, if they can't find no disease or anything with these rabbits or anything, walk away, USDA. Damn, what started out as a way to teach their son money values, think lemonade stand, grew into a way for the dollar traits to have some going out money, although their well-raised rabbits farm was very reputable. The $4,600 they grossed was really only the net profit of $200, because the rest of it was into feeding them, taking care of them, caging them, I mean, all that stuff. When you read their story, you will know a very common MO with these inspectors. They inspect, write up, say good job, they disappear, and a family gets slammed with a hefty bill or court hearing. Hint, never let them on your land, at least not without some legal moral support. The USDA fully stands behind their decision, and Senator Roy Blunt, Republican of Missouri, sent the Darlights a form email in response to their plight. Let's stop the madness. Contact for the response USDA division, the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. That's the headquarters. More contact info here, and you can contact them here. This is madness. I just can't believe they did this. Almost 9 months after a Missouri dairy was ordered to stop selling cheese made from raw milk, I share details of another hair-raising, pun included, story from the Show Me State. John Dollarette and his wife Judy of tiny Nixia, Missouri, have been told by the USDA that by Monday they must pay a fine exceeding $90,000. If they don't pay the fine, they could face additional fines of almost $4 million. Why? Because they sold more than $500 worth of bunnies, $4,600 worth to be exact, in a single calendar year. About 6 years ago, the Dolomites wanted to teach their young teenage son the responsibility and value of the dollar. So they rescued a pair of rabbits, one male, one female. And those rabbits did what rabbits do. They reproduced, and before long, things were literally hopping on the 3-acre homestead 30 miles south of Springfield. And the dollar value rabbitry was launched as more of a hobby than a business. We sell them for $10 to $15 a piece, John said during a phone interview Tuesday afternoon, comparing the venture to a kid running a lemonade stand. In addition, they set up a website and posted a rabbits for sale sign in their front yard. Most customers, however, came via word of mouth. In the early stages, some of the bunnies were raised and sold for their meat. Much further down the road, John said they determined it more profitable to sell the live bunnies at 4-week-old than to feed the bunnies for 12 weeks, then sell them as meat. We started becoming the go-to people for rabbits in the Springfield area, John said. If you wanted a rabbit, you'd go to Dollar Value Rabbitry. He added that the family even made the local television news just before Easter in 2008 for a report about the care and feeding of the Easter bunnies. Initially, the Dollar Hearts sold the large white pink-eyed variety of rabbits. Eventually, however, they switched to the selling a couple of different varieties of miniature rabbits, and mating pairs of which were purchased from the breed stock across the state. Not only did their show-quality miniatures reproduce well, but they ate less and seemed to be more popular with the theme park visitors and retail buyers. During the summer of 2009, the Dollar Hearts bought the rabbitry from their son, who had grown tired of managing it. They paid him what he asked for it, $200. Things kept growing, however, and the Dollar Hearts landed a pair of big accounts in 2009. There it is. There is the beginning of it. They got a big account, and it was probably in direct competition with a factory farm of rabbit raising, which are unhealthy and sickly because they stick them together like sardines in a can, just like they do the chickens, and they expect them to be healthy. This is where it began. Some rabbit factory found out and went to the USDA and said, help me, I need them shut down for my multi-million-dollar business will lose money. A well-known Benson theme park, Silver Dollar City, asked the Dollar Huts to have them provide 4-week-old bunnies per week to their petting zoo. May through September. When the bunnies turned 6 weeks old, they were sold to park visitors. The Springfield location of the national pet store chain Petland purchased rabbits from the Dollar Hearts as well. In the fall of 2009, the theme park deliveries ended for the year, and the Dollar Hearts scaled back their operation. At about the same time, the folks at Petland asked the Dollar Hearts to raise guinea pigs that the store would purchase from them. No big deal. By the year's end, the Dollar Heights have moved approximately 440 rabbits and grossed about $4,600 for a profit of approximately $200. Enough, John said, to provide the family pocket money to do things such as eat out at Red Lobster once in a while. That was better than the loss they experienced in 2008. Then some unexpected matters began demanding their attention. It is an understatement to describe the Dollar Heights as being beyond surprise when, in the fall of 2009, a female inspector from the U.S. Department of Agriculture showed up at the front door of the family home waiting to do a spot inspection of their rabbitry. She said she had come across Dollar Heights' rabbitry invoice while inspecting the petting zoo at Silver Dollar City. She did not tell us that we were in violation of any law, rules, or anything whatsoever, John said, explaining that the inspector said she just wanted to see what type of operation they had, having nothing to hide and any reason to fear they were doing anything wrong. The Dollar Heights allowed the inspection to proceed. John said he had gone to work at the family computer store, so Judy took the inspector to the back of their property where the rabbits were raised. There the inspector began running the width of their fingers across the cage and told the Dollar Heights they would need to replace the cage because it was a quarter-inch too small, therefore did not meet federal regulations. Such a requirement came in a shock to the Dollar Heights because they had just invested in new cages to ensure the bunnies had a healthy amount of space to develop. John explained, though, raising dwarf breed varieties of rabbits which require less space, they had opted to purchase cages designed for large breed rabbits so the dwarfs would have plenty of room, all for naught. Not only was the cage too small, according to the inspector, but she noted the small rust spot on a feeder and cited it as being out of compliance. It must be perfect. Well, let's go over and look at these factory farm rabbit farms and see what they got. I bet they fail everything the USDA looks at. When the Dollar Heights told the inspector that the rabbits' urine causes the cages to rust and that they worked hard to keep the rabbits' cages in top shape, she told them it didn't matter. The rust spot would count as an infraction. The inspector then asked how the cages were sanitized. John said Judy explained how she removed the bunnies and travel carries and power washed the cages using bleach when necessary. However, she allowed the cages to dry in the sun before putting the bunnies back inside them. The Dollar Heights practice was much safer than that used by some breeders who use blow torches to burn hair and manure from the cages, a practice that can lead to rusting metal and produce toxic fumes from burning metal. Man. During the course of the spot inspection, John said the inspector asked his wife if she and John would like to have their operation certified by the USDA. Judy said she wasn't sure and asked what the certification would entail and if it would help them sell more rabbits. The inspector responded, telling her they involved monthly inspections and was completely voluntary. The inspections ended with the inspector telling Judy that the Dollar Heights rabbits looked healthy and well cared for. Lied to them because she knew they were healthy and everything, but she wasn't going to go back and say that to the USDA. After the inspection, the Dollar Heights didn't hear from the USDA until January 2010, John said, and when they received a phone call from a Kansas City-based investigator, the USDA Animal and Plant Health Inspector Service. He called us and said, "We need to have a meeting with you and your wife," John recalled. After explaining that asked the investigator to come after the workday at the computer store had ended, John said he asked the investigator about the purpose of the meeting. He said, "Well, it's because you're selling rabbits and you're exceeded more than $500 in a year," John said. And I went, okay, what does that have to do with anything? John said the investigator refused to discuss details over the phone and made it clear that rejecting his request for a meeting would be a costly error in judgment. When Judy asked if they should have any attorney present, the investigator responded saying, "Well, that might not be a good thing." Right, they should have. And at that point, we kind of sat back wondering what in the world is going on. Then they found an attorney who is also a farmer. "We didn't want a city slicker," said John, so they went to a local farmer. But I'm going to have to leave it here. It's just more bull coming out of the government control freaks. These people, all they want to do is control us. They don't want us to be free or anything. They just want to control us. And that's what they're doing, bit by bit, inch by inch. You give them an inch, they'll take another, and so on. Well, that's all I have time for. Until next time, remember, bunny rabbits, don't raise them. It's against the USDA if you're not a mega factory. Good day.